It was a serene morning in their quaint neighborhood in one of the most picturesque towns in England. The stone cottages, manicured front lawns, the occasional stray cat scampering by, and the gentle harmony of chirping birds comprised an idyllic setting that felt like a watercolor brought to life. Nestled amidst this pastoral tranquility was an unusually charming house, home to the young siblings, Ben and Alice. Ben, the older of the two, was a thin lad with a head full of mousy curls that bobbed with every step he took. His sparkling blue eyes shone with a keen intelligence that belied his tender age of 10. He was always deep in thought, his mind a whirlwind of ideas and curiosity, forever eager to delve into the mysteries of the world around him. But Ben was not just a thinker, his laughter echoed around the neighborhood, a charming sound that never failed to draw a smile from those around him. His precocious nature was tempered with a joy for life, making him the life of every gathering. Playing at his side was Alice, a year younger and a head shorter than Ben. Her petite figure moved with a grace that was delightful to watch, while her freckled face always carried a wide smile. Her long red hair bounced as she skipped alongside her brother. Her large, hazel eyes sparkled with a zest for life, her spirit untamed and infectious. Though Alice was younger, she was no less wise or brave than Ben. Their bond was unbreakable, their connection palpable, as they navigated through the myriad experiences of their tender years.
Race you to the old oak!
Alice shouted suddenly, her voice echoing around the silent street.
But we've raced there 1,000 times.
Ben responded, rolling his eyes. But his complaint was laced with a playful smile.
That's why I'll beat you this time.
Alice retorted, her face beaming with confidence. With that, she shot off down the street, her laughter trailing behind her.
You're on!
Ben cried, chasing after her. He couldn't resist her playful challenge, her zest for life infectious. Despite their differing personalities, Ben and Alice complemented each other perfectly. Their brotherly sisterly bond was deep, their mutual respect evident in their every interaction. It was clear to all who met them that these two were inseparable companions, their personalities woven together in the intricate tapestry of their shared childhood. And their love for one another was the cornerstone of the lives they were just beginning to explore. Just up the cobblestone road, past the candy store and around a bend, stood a grand mansion draped in a lustrous veneer of mystery and intrigue. The mansion was the residence of Martha, a young, wealthy, and highly respected lady of the town. Her opulence was evident not only in her lifestyle but also in her larger-than-life personality. Intelligent, gentle, and strikingly elegant, Martha was the town's epitome of grace and goodwill. On that sunny day, Ben and Alice, engaged in their usual outdoor shenanigans, inadvertently found themselves in the vicinity of Martha's mansion. The mansion had always been a matter of fascination for the children, with its towering stature and sprawling gardens. Its intimidating facade had, until then, kept them at a distance. Martha, having watched their innocent play from her sun-drenched patio, decided to seize the opportunity. She called out to the children in her melodious voice, each note gracefully hovering in the warm afternoon air.
Ben! Alice! Would you fancy a warm cup of tea? I have a wonderful story of adventure to share.
Her invitation hung in the air, its echo mingling with the fragrant smell of the blooming garden. The children paused their game, curiosity gleaming in their young eyes. A quick exchange of glances, a mutual nod, and they made their decision. Their hands tightly clasped together, they approached the grand mansion. Their hearts pounded with a mix of nervousness and excitement, their steps a little more hesitant as they crossed the threshold into Martha's world. Little did they know that this seemingly innocent encounter would alter the course of their lives in a way they couldn't possibly have imagined. Martha led them into the mansion, her voice echoing gently against the ornate walls.
Do make yourselves at home, children,
she said warmly, guiding them into the large living room. The siblings glanced at each other, their eyes wide at the opulence around them, and nodded timidly. The mansion's interiors were as splendid as its exterior. The chandeliers hanging from the high ceiling, the grand piano in the corner, the elaborate paintings adorning the walls, all bore testament to Martha's refined tastes. The tantalizing scent of fresh pastries and the cozy warmth within the mansion disarmed the children's initial apprehension, setting the stage for an unlikely friendship to blossom.
Your home is beautiful, Miss Martha.
Ben began, always the more eloquent of the two, his young voice filled with genuine admiration.
Why, thank you, Ben.
Martha replied, her eyes twinkling at the compliment. She bent down to their level, her warm smile making them feel at ease.
I have traveled far and wide and brought back a piece of each place. Each room tells a story, and each story is an adventure.
Alice, her curiosity piqued, chimed in.
Could you share one of those adventures with us, Miss Martha?
A soft chuckle escaped Martha's lips.
Well, Alice, which one would you like to hear? The tale of the forgotten city under the sea or the story of the dancing stars in the African sky?
Under the sea. Under the sea.
Alice clapped her hands, her enthusiasm infectious. Ben nodded in agreement, his curiosity mirrored in his sparkling blue eyes.
Yeah, under the sea sounds exciting.
Martha leaned back in her chair, her face adopting a storyteller's expression, her eyes distant as if watching the scenes unfold in front of her.
Very well, under the sea it is.
As the afternoon wore on, the children listened, entranced, as Martha spun her stories. Her voice was hypnotic, rising and falling with the rhythm of her narrative. Every sentence was a brushstroke on the canvas of their young minds, painting vivid images of lost cities and ancient civilizations. By the time they left, it was with a promise to return. Martha had won their hearts with her kindness, her stories embedding themselves in their memories. Unknowingly, the trap was set, and the children had willingly walked into it. With each passing week, their visits to Martha's mansion became more frequent. The grandeur of the mansion, coupled with Martha's warm hospitality, created a magical atmosphere that captivated the children. Adept at weaving enchanting tales, Martha regaled them with stories of far-off lands, daring explorers, and magical creatures. The gleam in her eye and the animation in her voice would sweep Ben and Alice into a world of wonder and fantasy. One sun-kissed afternoon, after a delightful storytelling session, Martha suggested that the siblings explore her vast garden. Ben and Alice leapt at the idea, their faces lighting up with exhilaration. Martha led them through the rear doors of the mansion, and the children were greeted with a sight of astonishing beauty. The garden was a symphony of colors, boasting meticulously pruned flower beds and vibrant bushes. At the heart of the garden stood an ancient tree, massive and gnarled, standing tall with an air of regality. Its thick branches were adorned with a few peculiar large fruits unlike any they had ever seen. The tree had an almost magnetic aura, an irresistible draw that pulled at the curious instincts of the children. Martha, noticing their fixation on the tree, stepped closer with a smile.
That's an ancient tree, older than any of us here. It's always been a part of this garden, and it has a certain magic about it.
Magic?
Alice echoed, her eyes sparkling with wonder. Martha nodded, a secretive smile playing on her lips.
Yes, indeed. It has seen many seasons change, weathered many storms, and yet, it stands strong. And these peculiar fruits you see, they only grow on this tree, nowhere else in the world.
Really?
Ben asked, his gaze fixed on the unusual fruits hanging overhead.
Really?
Martha confirmed.
They're called Heartsease. Quite a charming name, isn't it?
But why are they called that?
Alice questioned, her brows furrowing in thought.
Well, the legend goes that these fruits can soothe any heart, bring peace to any mind. They're quite special.
Ben and Alice shared a glance, their young hearts pounding with excitement. This was more than they had hoped for, a story and an adventure rolled into one. The pair moved closer to the tree, their hands reaching out to touch its ancient bark. There was a strange allure to it that they couldn't resist. As they stood beneath the massive canopy, they felt an overwhelming sense of awe. It was like stepping into a different realm, a world removed from their everyday life.
We can come back to play here, can't we, Miss Martha?
Ben asked, turning back to look at the kind lady.
Of course you can. This garden is as much yours as it is mine.
Martha replied, her tone warm and inviting. Little did the children know that this seemingly innocent invite was the key to unlocking a horrifying reality hidden deep within the mysterious tree. With a reassuring smile, Martha excused herself. She turned and gracefully retreated back into the house, the heavy wooden door closing behind her with a soft thud. Unbeknownst to the children, she watched from a window, her gaze following their every move with an unreadable expression. Feeling a mixture of apprehension and thrill, the siblings approached the tree. Its large roots twisted and turned, creating a labyrinth at its base. And hidden amidst the roots, they discovered a small opening, a secret passageway that seemed to lead into the heart of the tree. A strangely sweet smell wafted from the opening, a tantalizing fragrance that lured them closer. It was an almost hypnotic scent, intoxicating in its sweetness. The children glanced at each other, eyes wide with curiosity and a hint of trepidation. Their youthful courage spurred them on, and they decided to venture into the unknown.
Alice, do you think we should go in?
Ben asked, glancing uncertainly at the small opening in the tree. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Alice hesitated for a moment, biting her lower lip, her eyes reflecting the same potent mixture of emotions.
I don't know, Ben. It looks a bit scary. But don't you want to know where that sweet smell is coming from?
Ben nodded, his young mind wrestling with caution and curiosity. The lure of the unknown was too strong, and his adventurous spirit won out.
Let's do it,
he said, his voice holding a hint of determination.
but we have to stick together, all right?
Alice nodded, mirroring her brother's bravery.
Okay, let's do this.
Having made their decision, they wriggled into the small opening, their small bodies just managing to squeeze through. The path ahead was dimly lit, the walls earthen and adorned with gnarled roots of the ancient tree. They descended further into the unknown, their hearts pounding in their chests, driven by a strange mixture of fear and excitement. As they delved deeper, the sweet smell began to evolve. There was a strange undertone to it now, a scent that reminded them of their mother's kitchen when something was left too long on the stove. The sudden shift was jarring, and a sense of unease crept into their young minds. But their curiosity and determination outweighed their fear, and they pressed on, moving deeper into the mysterious tree's heart. With hands tightly clasped, they navigated the ever-narrowing path. Ben, slightly ahead, whispered back to his sister.
Alice, do you smell that? It's like something's burning.
Alice, her nose scrunched up, nodded.
Yeah, it's like when Mom forgets the toast in the oven.
Their conversation faded into a hush, the seriousness of the situation dawning upon them. The once exciting adventure was now transforming into an eerily quiet and unwelcoming journey.
Do you think we should go back?
Alice's voice trembled, her fingers squeezing Ben's hand a little tighter.
I don't know, Alice.
Ben replied, torn between his protective instinct for his sister and their shared sense of curiosity.
But we've come this far. Let's see what's at the end. We'll stick together, all right?
Alice, drawing strength from her brother's words, managed a shaky nod. Their youthful courage propelling them forward, they ventured deeper into the tree, completely unaware of the ominous fate that awaited them. The winding path took them further into the heart of the tree, the air growing thicker with each step. The sweet smell had all but disappeared now, replaced by the alarming scent of something burning. Their tiny fingers traced the rough tree roots guiding them, and they could feel the vibration of the tree as if it were alive and breathing. Suddenly, their path opened into a small, dimly lit cavern. The flickering light from an unseen source cast an eerie glow on the walls, bringing alive the intricate patterns formed by the crisscrossing roots. The source of the burning smell was stronger here, causing the children's noses to crinkle in discomfort. Their hearts pounded like a war drum, echoing their trepidation. Yet, Ben summoned his courage, determined to protect his little sister.
Stay close, Alice.
He whispered, his voice barely audible over the sound of their rapid heartbeats. She nodded in response, clutching his hand tighter as they stepped further into the cavern. And then they saw it. At the far end of the room, its back towards them, was a figure shrouded in darkness. Before they could even process the sight, the figure turned, revealing itself. Its grotesque visage seemed like an unholy amalgamation of gnarled tree bark and contorted flesh. Its piercing eyes, glowing and terrifying, locked onto them, an evil grin spread across its face. A wave of fear washed over the children, freezing them in their tracks. Alice whimpered, her hand clinging onto Ben's, her eyes wide with pure terror.
Ben.
She squeaked, her voice barely above a whisper.
I know, Alice. I see it too.
He managed to utter, his throat dry.
We need to run.
But as if responding to their fear, the creature spoke, its voice grating and ancient.
Children, there is no need to run.
The siblings froze, startled by the creature's words. It was not just the fact that it could speak, but what it said next that would haunt them forever.
I've been waiting for you. The smell of your youth, your vitality, drew you here, and now I shall feast upon it.
The children stood still, caught in the cruel grip of fear, their innocent world shattered irrevocably. As the reality of their situation sank in, so did the profound sense of dread, and the children braced themselves for a fate they were ill-prepared for. The creature lurched forward, its tree-like limbs creaking with each movement. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, radiating a predatory anticipation. Fear clung to the air like thick fog, causing the children to tremble. Yet, in this moment of horrifying revelation, a glimmer of their innate courage shimmered through.
We won't let you eat us.
Ben stammered, his voice shaking but resolute. He took a protective step in front of Alice, his small fists clenched at his sides. The creature, the demon, laughed, a harsh, grating sound that echoed ominously in the cavernous room.
You misunderstand, my dear.
It croaked, its voice dripping with malevolence.
I have no intention of devouring you, at least not in the way you think.
The creature moved closer, revealing more of its grotesque form. Half its body appeared human, yet terribly disfigured, while the other half resembled a gnarled, ancient tree.
You are connected to this tree, aren't you?
Alice whispered, her voice quivering with fear, but her curiosity getting the better of her. The demon seemed to grin, its grotesque face stretching into a terrifying semblance of a smile.
Indeed, child. I am this tree, and this tree is I.
And Martha?
Ben asked, his voice barely a whisper.
Ah, sweet Martha.
The creature hissed, a glint of amusement in its eyes.
She brings you children to me. The vitality of your youth feeds me. And in return, the fruits of this tree allow her to live eternally.
Ben felt Alice's hand tighten around his. The revelation sent a chilling wave of betrayal coursing through their young hearts. The kind, intelligent Martha, their friend, was in league with this monster.
But why us?
Alice whimpered, the tears finally breaking through and streaking down her cheeks.
Because you were easy to lure, easy to befriend.
The creature answered nonchalantly.
Children are trusting, especially towards kind, caring adults. Martha is very good at her role.
The demon's words echoed in the underground chamber, punctuating the horrifying reality they now found themselves in. The very foundation of their innocent trust was shattered, leaving the siblings ensnared in a web of fear and despair. The demon shifted its weight, the roots and earth around it adjusting in response. Its grotesque half-tree, half-human form was now fully visible, illuminated by the soft, eerie glow of luminescent mushrooms growing along the cavern's walls. The demon leaned closer, its mismatched features contorted in a sickening grin.
Your vitality, your essence. It's pure, untarnished, scrumptious.
The word hung heavy in the air, a testament to their cruel fate. But amidst the horror, the siblings found a sliver of strength in their shared experience. Their bond, as unbreakable as the roots of the ancient tree that entwined them, gave them courage.
We won't let you!
Alice declared, her voice shrill but firm. She stepped out from behind Ben, standing beside him, her tiny frame defiant. The demon chuckled, seemingly amused by their show of bravery.
You're already here, in my lair. There's no escape now.
Suddenly, their surroundings came alive with an array of sensory onslaughts. The air grew dense, the smell of burning intensified, and an ominous rumble echoed from the tree roots that twisted and turned around them. The sweet scent that had lured them here had entirely disappeared, replaced by the foul stench of dread. They could feel their hearts pounding in their chests, their fear a palpable entity. Yet they stood their ground, their hands clasped tightly. They were, after all, a team, in the face of joy and the face of fear. Their bond as siblings was their shield, and they braced themselves for the impending nightmare. The demon lumbered toward them, the earth shuddering beneath its colossal form. Each step was methodical, predatory, like a cat toying with its prey before going in for the kill. The cavernous room seemed to shrink with the creature's approach, intensifying the children's impending sense of doom. The foul scent of burning filled their nostrils, making their eyes water. The roots around them thrummed with an eerie energy, as though they were attuned to the demon's dark intentions.
Please, let us go!
Alice begged, her voice barely audible amidst the intimidating hum of the demon. But the demon only chuckled, a sound like dry leaves rustling in the wind.
Too late for pleasantries, child.
In a swift, predatory motion, the demon lunged at them. Alice screamed, clutching Ben tightly as the world around them seemed to spin. It was over in an instant. The demon had claimed its prey. Days turned into weeks. The children's laughter no longer echoed through the historical neighborhood. Their games of hide and seek were but distant memories in the minds of the locals. Martha, with her charming demeanor, expressed her concerns to the local police about the sudden disappearance of the children. Her voice was kind and sincere, masking the dark secret she harbored within her elegant mansion.
They used to visit me often, such bright young souls.
Martha told the police officers, her eyes welling up with well-practiced sorrow.
I've been worried sick about them.
Her words were convincing, earning her the sympathy of the officers, who promised to do their best to locate the missing children. Little did they know, the answer lay beneath the roots of the huge old tree in Martha's garden. Once they left, Martha heaved a sigh of relief. In the solitude of her garden, she approached the mysterious tree. Looking up at the large, weird fruits hanging from its branches, she plucked one, its flesh a vibrant red. It was the symbol of her dark pact, the essence of the innocent lives devoured by the demon, ensuring her eternal youth. She took a bite of the fruit, its juice staining her lips a blood red. It tasted sweet, too sweet, a cruel parody of the innocence it was born from. Martha, savoring the last bite of the fruit, felt a rush of vitality course through her veins. Her skin glowed with a youthful radiance that belied her years, her eyes sparkling with an eerie intensity. The pact was sealed, and her eternal life was ensured once again. She stood up, her posture elegant and regal, the wind gently playing with her hair as she looked up at the mansion that housed her monstrous secret. The story of Martha, the demon, and the missing children lingered as an unspoken horror, hidden under the cloak of an idyllic city life. The historical neighborhood retained its charm, its stories whispered in hushed tones, its secrets buried deep beneath an old tree. And so, the sun set on another day in this English city. Yet in the midst of all the innocence and joy, the stately mansion stood as a silent sentinel, a symbol of a cruel pact between a woman and a demon, their secrets buried beneath the roots of an old tree bearing fruits of eternal youth.